Our guest this morning, actor Danny Trejo. Did I say the last name correct, Danny?
Trejo, yes.
Good morning. I was listening in as you were talking to Michael, our producer here, and you started to tell a story about San Quentin. Can you share that on the air? Can you revert back to the
Yeah,
beginning of that?
sure.
So what's that story all about?
Well, so I was doing a movie called Blood In, Blood Out, and we're doing it in San Quentin, and I ran into an inmate named Mario Castillo, and we talked, and I told him about staying clean and all that stuff, and we became friends. And then later on, about 8 years later, after he went back twice, and we ran into each other at a Narcotics Anonymous convention. And he kind of said, "Hey, I took your advice. I'm in a recovery. I'm clean." And anyway, long story short, he got clean and needed a transplant. He got sick and moved into a room that I got, and we he became my assistant. And then my son was really having a problem with drugs, and so they called me. I was in Germany doing a film, and I told Mario, and Mario went, kicked in the door, and brought him out. And my son right now has 10 years clean, as in the DGA, and is just doing so awesome.
Well, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
When you look
You
back,
never know when God's going to repay you, but He will.
yeah. When you look back on your life, and we're here to talk about a movie you got coming out, but we'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
When you look back at all that you've done, and you're famous, you've got a face that is very famous on all these different movies and so forth. So a lot of notoriety and a lot of publicity and stuff like that. But do you look back and find a situation like you just described there as maybe being one of the biggest pluses that happened in your life that you were a part of in some way?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You said it. From somebody that thought they would never get out of prison to where I'm at now, to looking at all the miracles. And it's like, let me tell you something, everything good that has happened to me has happened as a direct result of helping someone else.
That's awesome.
Everything.
So let's jump back. I didn't look in your bio to see where you were. So you did some time. What was that for, and when was that, and what's a
Drug.
brief history on
I,
that?
the last time I sold 4 ounces of pure sugar to a federal agent,
Oops.
they were very upset.
Yeah, I bet. And so you did some time. Where were you at?
5 years, Quentin and Folsom, Soledad.
Okay. When did the movie career begin, and how did that begin?
Uh, Actually, I was a drug counselor, and I was working for Western Pacific Med Corp. We detox heroin. I still work for them. And uh, one of the kids that I was working got me involved in being an extra. I was helping him to stay clean. And so one night I go down to support him, and it's a movie called Runaway Train with John Voight and Eric Roberts. And I walked on that set, and one of the guys said, "Do you want to be in a movie?" And I said, "What do I got to do?" He says, "Can you act like a convict?" And I said, "It's funny. This is your life." I said, "Yeah." Okay. So I took off my shirt, and he saw that big tattoo. The minute I took off that my shirt, this guy comes over and says, "Hey, you're Danny Trejo." And I go, "Yeah." And he says, "I saw you win the lightweight and the welterweight title up in San Quentin." And I said, "You're Eddie Bunker." I knew this guy. He was the captain's clerk in San Quentin. Captain's clerk is the most powerful job you can have in the institution. Because if you put something in front of that captain and he signs it, it's law. So if a guard is giving you trouble in one of the blocks, like you can't do your tattoos or you can't deal drugs or whatever, what you do is you just pay Eddie 50, 100, whatever it's going to cost, and all of a sudden that guard is transferred out to the bay.
Interesting. Have you put a book together about your life yet?
Yeah, we've got one out. It just came out. It made #2 on the bestseller in New York. It was Trejo, My Life of Crime, Redemption in Hollywood.
Well, I've got to read that one. All right. Well, real quick, we don't always have enough time to get into this as much as I would love to. We know you from movies like Desperado and Heat. I still
Yeah.
remember your arm coming off in Con Air. and, but
That
but
was awesome.
does that still hurt?
You know what? Let me tell you something. That was a contest of what you can do. They took all the wannabe badasses, put them on a plane, and if you spit, it would be a spitting contest.
Yeah.
If you
No.
threw a rock, everybody, it was just, and there was a guy named Benny Ukidis that would always come get me for lunch. And we'd walk over. I said, "What's up, Benny? What do you?" He says, "Dan, you grew up with my older brother, is Mondo, who was, they're both five-time karate experts, champions, and they actually trained under Bruce Lee. And
Wow.
and he would pull me, he said, Daddy, you grew up with my brother. You guys, you guys weren't good sports.
Well, you've got a movie out now. Let's talk about that real quick. It's Gracie and Pedro, Pets to the Rescue.
Awesome.
I started watching that last night.
Take the whole family, and it's got Silverstone in it. It's got some really heavies. Al Franklin, Alicia Silverstone. It's got Brooke Shields. It's got Susan Sarandon, and it's kind of like a buddy movie. It starts out they hate each other, but it ends up showing you that you can't do anything without help. So,
Yeah. I was starting to watch that, and I thought, I need to save this, get my grandkids over to the house, and we'll all sit down and watch
yes.
that.
Well, they'll love it.
Where can
Hard out fish with teeth.
where can we find this on a regular basis now? Gracie and Pedro, the Pets to the Rescue. Is that on the normal platforms?
Yeah, all the platforms we got them streamed. I don't even understand that stuff. You know,
All right. Well, listen,
I got an assistant that'll find it for me. But hey, I also got another one out called Seven Cemeteries that is not for the kids.
okay. We're gonna have to check that one out. And there's one other thing I was going to ask you, but we're running out of time. You've got some cookbooks because you actually have a bunch of locations called Trejo's Tacos and Cantina.
Yes.
And your
Just
Trejo's.
opened up one in London called Trejo's Tacos, and it's doing great on Portobello Road, and we've got 5 locations in Los Angeles. We're getting ready to open up one in Detroit, like the House of Blues. So those are most of my mom's recipes, and God, I still love tacos.
Oh, I love tacos. So, last question for you. Then I know I've got to let you go. What is the basic ingredients for your favorite kind of taco that your mom makes?
Well, I love the Baja fish. Always loved the fish tacos because every time we would go fishing, we knew we were going to get fish tacos, and it's like so. I've always loved the Baja fish taco, carne asada. I mean, just what's so good about a taco is you can do anything with it.
Yep, I love them. Gracie and Pedro, Pets to the Rescue. It's a great movie for the kids, the whole family. Danny, it's a pleasure talking. I've got to check out some more of your books and some more of your movies and stuff. And I'm going to have to get into one of your taco places, your tacos and your cantina.
Anytime, home. And I was up. You're up. Where are you at? You're in.
Up in Humboldt, in Eureka.
Yeah, I was there. There's a camp. I'm trying to remember the camp I was at.
Well, listen, you come up here next time, just ask around. Everybody knows where to find me, and I will take you out for tacos, and let's talk some more, Danny, okay?
God bless you. Thank you, Holmes.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.